Welcome back to the Dutch and Denver podcast, man. I know it's been some time, but we've had some stuff going on, obviously, like everybody else. And what can I say? I haven't gotten around to it. I apologize, but eh, you guys know how this works. It's not necessarily consistent or intelligent or informed, but here we are. We're back. I'm Dutch. I am in and around Denver, and it's podcast time, baby. Let's roll. I got a lot of stuff to cover today, and we're probably not going to get to most of it. But I'll give it a best shot. Okay. I don't know where to start other than we can either go to sports or we can go to the obvious fires. Do we want to talk there first? All right, let's just get that out of the way. Get my blood boiling, and we can. Okay. Um, as some of you know, I spent a year or so in LA and blah, blah, blah. So the personal stuff we're not going to get into right now because that isn't the time for it. I don't know what's going on, and I have a lot of questions about my personal stuff and people I know and things like that that are not answered yet. So we're not going to go that way. What we can discuss though is the uh the political, the management side, and we'll make this short because again, it's all right. I don't want to shit on people who just lost everything. Um, but uh, but you kind of have to. Oh, so here's the predicament. Everybody says now's not the time to talk about it. The failures in government and things like that, which part of me agrees with, but part of me is like, so when is the time to talk about it? A couple months from now? Well, everybody's going to forget. And then when it comes voting time, they're going to forget. And they'll just vote for Democrats again because they're fucking retarded. So, I mean, even now, I'm not even sure now's the time to talk about it because even if we do, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. Um, but I can give my opinion, and that's more of what I'm after. Okay, the wildfires are horrible. Um, I don't know how they were started, so I'm not going to say they were preventable. But if they were started from two power lines touching because the wind was super high, it was preventable. If it was started because of arson, it was preventable. I mean, the only thing that wasn't preventable would have been like an act of God, lightning, some shit like that. And people would be like, well, the wind is an act of God. Okay. Well, yes, the wind is an act of God, but having your power lines above ground, it's not. You could have paid to have those buried, but instead you invested millions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't think hundreds, maybe like 50 billion in fucking homeless people, and you've just made it progressively worse. And when I say you, I mean the Democrats in California. Okay. Um, I don't I feel bad for the people that moved there in like the 60s and 70s, maybe even early 80s, and bought a house like in Malibu or Palisades, something like that. You know, bought like $100,000 house with all their money. And then for the past 40, 50 years, that thing has turned into like a $5 million house. And now it's burned to the ground and they have nothing. You know, cash poor, asset rich. I feel terrible for those people. Um, but I don't if you voted for the current situation. Like, I mean, everybody knows what's been going on. Okay, there's no water. They got a bunch of lesbians running the show. They cut the budget. I mean, everything you could do to make this really, really bad, they've done. So, like I've always said, elections have consequences. I hope that people wake up and pick different leadership. I don't think they will, and they don't have anyone to blame but themselves. People are like, oh, that's but the insurance companies, because a lot of people got their insurance dropped. Well, let me tell you how insurance works. Insurance works on everybody pays into a big pot, and hopefully, only a certain amount of that pot, a small percentage, has to use that money. So what actually happened was all these insurance companies, specifically State Farm, went to the state of California and said, "Hey, man, the people in California are not paying enough money into the pot to cover the value of the property if it's lost. Like, we need more out of them. You know, we got to raise their premiums." And the state of California said, "No, you can't do that." So the insurance company said, "Fine, we'll cancel the policies." So it's not the insurance company's fault. Trust me, it's not. They're a private company, and what they do is they take money in and they reinvest your premiums in the stock market or whatever. And this is simple, simple. They take your premiums, they reinvest them, they make more money. So when something catastrophic happens, they can cover the catastrophe. The problem, though, is if they're not taking enough money in to cover the catastrophe, they have to raise rates. And when the government steps in and says you can't raise rates, then they cancel policies. That's how that works. Okay? That's Democrat stuff again. There's no water, Democrat stuff. I mean, DEI stuff, all this Democrat stuff. And again, I feel horrible for some of these people, unless you voted for this. And I still feel bad for you, but I feel less bad for you. I'll feel more bad for you if you vote all these assholes out of here and move on. Okay? That's what we're going to talk about that. Because that's unfortunately near and dear, and I don't want to get into that right now. Let's talk about sports. Okay? Let's talk about the Denver fucking Broncos. And I know it's been a while since we have done a podcast, so I haven't been able to talk about them that much. But let's talk about them. So I don't know the last time we actually did one of these, but a couple weeks ago or a week ago, we beat the Chiefs like 38-34 to zip at home. Great. The Chiefs played their fucking practice squad. If you couldn't beat the practice squad, you know, and that was our last chance to get into the playoffs, and we got in. We had 3 other chances, or 2 other chances, 2 other weeks prior to get in, and we couldn't do it. First, just thing, we had no business being in the playoffs. We're not a good enough team. There's no reason for us to be in there other than the NFL wants money and puts half of the league in the playoffs. That's stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. That's dumb. We don't need half the league in the playoffs. The Broncos definitely did not belong there. They were, our defense is fraudulent. I don't care what anyone says. And I mean, don't be a casual. Seriously. If you're happy that we just made it to the playoffs and lost, you're a casual fan. And I'm good. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you like the Broncos, things like that. But your opinion means nothing. You're not a fan. Okay. Making it to the wild card of the playoffs, when half the league makes it in, when you beat a practice squad team, is not making it to the playoffs. Okay. And then losing in the fashion you did today is not. The Broncos had no business being in there. Their defense is fraudulent. The Buffalo Bills ran all over our defense. And not only their running backs, their quarterback, Josh Allen, a quarterback from fucking Wyoming, ran all over us. Couldn't stop the pass. The defense could do nothing to do anything productive. The offense, how about that? Great. They came out first drive, like boom, 10-yard run, 2-yard run, bomb touchdown. 7-zip Broncos. Loved it. Great. We might have a chance. Bills get the ball, run all over us. We actually stop them with, down in the red zone, kick a field goal, 7-3. All right, we got a chance. And then for the rest of the game, the Broncos offense became completely useless and inept. I mean, get rid of Courtland Sutton. That motherfucker can't catch a ball at all. He sucks. I'm sorry. The running game, I couldn't tell you it was good or bad because we don't use it. And Sean Payton, I mean, again, run the damn ball. I mean, Sean Payton, we got to run, and he doesn't call running plays or Bo checks out of them. I don't know what the problem is. Receivers can't catch, defense can't stop anybody, no running game, rookie quarterback. We had no business being in that game. Dumb screens, horrible play calling, dumb special teams. I mean, the refs a little bit, like, I don't think it was enough to affect the outcome of the game. But, like, man, when Vinovich, or I think it was Vinovich, or the head referee was on the sideline, on the bench, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills quarterback, is sitting on the bench. He's pouting because he didn't throw the touchdown because he thought that Surtain held some guy, which he did. We'll get to that in a minute. So he's sitting on the bench crying. And the head referee, Vinovich, comes over to him and talks to him and says, "Hey, man, that was my bad." You can see it on TV. It says, "That was my bad," and blah, blah. I've never seen that in my life. That's completely unprofessional on the referee's part and just out of this world retarded. Okay? Did Surtain hold? Absolute. Did they miss it? Excuse me. Did Surtain hold? Yes. Did they miss it? Yes. Did the Buffalo Bills offense hold the entire game and the refs miss it? Yes. Little column A, little column B. Okay. That wasn't what lost the Broncos the game. What lost the Broncos the game is our defense is a fraud. Pat Surtain is not as good as everyone says. Riley Moss should just be benched forever. We did fine without him. He's a problem. He's a liability. Our linebackers aren't good. We didn't get the pressure we needed today, and the secondary, it was an absolute utter collapse on the defense's part. And then the offense, I mean, wasn't great. But again, part of me is like, duh, Sean Payton can't call the right plays. How do you come out and in 3 plays score a touchdown, and then the rest of the game you do nothing of any substance? I get it. Surtain can't catch, or not Surtain. I'm sorry. Sutton can't catch. Bo can't throw. We can't run the ball. I get all that. But that's my point, man. We didn't belong there. We had no business being in the playoffs this year. But like I said, for the casuals who are happy we just got there, I disagree. I think anything other than a Super Bowl win is a failure. I think anything other than a Stanley Cup win, an NBA champion, is a failure. Again, you guys are professional football players. Because, Dutch, you couldn't do any better. Of course I couldn't do any better. I'm not a professional football player. But you're a professional football player playing another professional team, okay? And they beat you. You failed. You're failures. You're losers. If I'm building a house and someone comes in and builds that house better than I do and all that, I'm a failure. Because that's my job. Contractor. When contractors come in and do better work than me and get the job and do all that, I'm the failure. Okay? It's like any other job. I know it's entertaining to watch them play football, and it's not entertaining to watch some people build a house, but same principle, you're a professional football player. And if you don't complete the task at hand, which is winning the Super Bowl, you're a loser. Okay? I'm sorry. And these, we had a good year, we'll be good next year. I don't believe that. There's nothing that's going to tell me we're going to be better next year. Sean Payton will be there. I think he's a terrible coach. The guy's a moron. Clock management, play calling, it's terrible, abysmal. Vance Joseph, I hope he gets hired as a head coach somewhere. He sucks too. Not good, man. Just not good. There's much more to be said, but really there's not. We had no business being in there. Having half the league in the playoffs is fucking stupid, but again, it's all about money. I get it. Just like the college football playoffs. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I know you guys like the 12 team. I do not. All the teams got buys lost. I think it's unfair that they have to sit out for 3 weeks. Why Ohio State gets a candy ass game and then has to go play, things like that. Whatever. I don't know. I hope Notre Dame wins just so we don't have an abusive family situation. Not my extended family. They're we'll talk about this one time too. They're Notre Dame fans and it's a shit show of like abuse and shit like that. And I'm gonna figure out names and I'm gonna call them out on the podcast. See what happens. We're gonna burn some bridges. And burn down that alumni situation. Whatever. Like I said, I hope Notre Dame wins just so certain family members don't get abused by their piece of shit fat milk drinking husbands. And the kids too. Okay. Because I hate Ohio State. I hate them both actually. So maybe they can both lose. It's just not a good setup. Making the best teams wait, 2-3 weeks to even play a game, while some of the other teams get like a warm up candy ass thing, and then get a jump in, and they're ready to go. And I don't know. That's why the chefs next weekend, man. I'm not sure about that. I mean, I know the NFL is gonna let them win or make them win because let's think about it. You got Taylor Swift, the gay guy, Kelsey, Mahomo, and a chance at a three-peat. Like that's got billions of dollars of revenue written all over it. And the NFL is absolutely gonna allow that to happen. But Mahomo and Kelsey and all those nerds, they've sat for 3 weeks. They haven't. They sat during the Bronco game. They sat this week, and they sat the week before they're in between their game. So they've got to be rusty, okay? And the Texans bowled over this weekend, so the Texans got to be firing. But the Chiefs will win just because not they're the better team, but the NFL wants that to happen. Like that's a great storyline for them and money. But that's not fair. And dare I say it's not fair to the chefs, but they chose that. They chose to lose on purpose to the Broncos so they didn't have to play Cincy. I do believe that. Or someone did. Who knows? But yeah, the college football playoffs, and they were all bad games. Really bad games. The Sugar Bowl, was the Sugar Bowl that was like postponed because of that terrorist attack? That was bad too. Man, that I don't even know. I thought I was going to get into that, but it just, I, I cannot believe this is where we're fucking at, man. Some hoodlum, savage Muslim drove over a bunch of people in his car and killed them on Bourbon Street. And the FBI gets up there with some dumb bitch with a fucking nose ring in. Is like, it's not a terrorist attack. Yes, it is. And I know all this stuff is. Oh, don't get on the road. Fuck that, man. Like, you're the FBI, you're on national television lying to people with your nose ring in because you're some DEI hire and you're totally unexperienced. That's not the height of professionalism. That is not instilling confidence in me in an already broken system. And, we haven't heard anything about it since. We haven't heard anything about the guy in Vegas who shot like 50 people. We haven't heard anything about the Trump assassins. We haven't heard anything about this guy. We haven't heard anything about the nerd in Las Vegas who blew his Cybertruck up. Apparently the guy that had like emails and secret knowledge of shit and blah, blah, blah. And he loved Trump and Elon, but he takes Elon's truck and blows it up in front of Trump's building. And then he shoots himself prior, but you can see him in the video moving. Like, this is all, I don't understand how we're still putting up with this shit. They're obviously lying to you. Okay? Your government is lying to you and you're just spoon feeding like, yeah, okay. Sounds good to me. What else is coming on? Oh, H-1B visas, whatever. That's the other thing. I don't fuck them. Let's talk about Joy Taylor, dude. All right. So the Fox lawsuit, I guess, has come out that some hairdresser is pissed off because Skip Bayless offered her like $1.5 million to bang him. Let me just say, Skip, you're as big as a loser as I always thought you were because, you know, people are like, hey man, you couldn't get laid with $100 bills sticking out of your fly. Well, Skip can't get laid with $1.5 million sticking out of his fly. Fucking nerd. But then also, I've seen the hairdresser. She should have taken the cash. You're not gonna get that offer again. And I'm not condoning prostitution. Well, I am if you're a prostitute. But it's all fucked up. Well, it turns out that Joy Taylor, the chick on Fox Sports, whatever, has been banging everybody to get ahead. Part of me's like, duh. I mean, she's terrible at her job. Some people would say she's pretty, and I'll be honest with you guys, years ago, we were on a job site, I think listening to Colin or some shit, and I was like, she's not bad looking. Yeah. And then one of the coworkers was like, dude, every time I look at her, I see her brother Zach Taylor. The guy who I think played for Miami. And ever since then, every time I see her, it's like, oh my God, it's Zach Taylor with long fucking hair. I'm out. So there's where I stand on that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, she was banging people to get ahead. She's terrible at her fucking job. And has a very prominent spot at Fox Sports. I don't really care though. Like, use what you got. My problem is I think there's rumored that she was like smashing somebody and then was gonna accuse them of like rape later to get even further ahead. That's wrong. You go to prison for that. Fuck you for that. But I mean, I don't know. I I would I won't say most of them do that, but we've done this 100 times. And I don't hate. I love women, man. I really do, but I don't need them forced into my sports. I don't need some chick announcing college football. It's not good. It's just not. I don't need the sideline reports. Those I don't mind as much as them announcing the whole game. The Nuggets at just I don't need it or want it. No one does. No one cares about the WNBA. Fill that stadium full of chicks or the arena full of chicks watching the WNBA sell out, turn a profit. I'll start giving you guys the time of day. But until then, fuck off and quit trying to force it down my throat. All right? I just want Jim Nance. I don't even want Tony Romo or Collinsworth. Tirico's fine. Nance, obviously love him. I just want the announcers. I don't need the color guy. Tom Brady's a fucking idiot announcing. I don't want any of that. I don't even like the guys. I'm sure shit isn't gonna like some chick just blabbering on about nothing. But yeah, I mean, if Joy Taylor wanted to bang some dude to get ahead, or two dudes, fine. I mean, part of me is like, duh. How do you guys not know that coming? The funnier thing is Skip Bayless got turned down for $1 million or $1.5 million. Why do you offer that kind of money, dude? You can get a really good hooker for like 10 grand a night. Like 1% of that. Not even like 0.75% of that. Damn. Whatever. All right. This is gonna be a short one, actually, because it's just me. All right, man. We're gonna talk about dating for a minute. It's a fucking mess. And I'm gonna get real with you guys for a little bit. Okay. I'm not gonna cry. We're gonna get. We've talked about this, you know, we're looking for a wife, 5 kids, blah blah, all that. Live on a farm. And our buddy Ever was like, dude, Hinge is what to do. Because he met his fiance on Hinge. They seem very happy together. I'm happy for them. So it's like, all right, give it a shot. First of all, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what roses are. I don't know what any of this shit is. And the conversations you do have just feel so forced and hollow. I don't know if people can't have a conversation anymore, or I don't know what I'm doing. And if someone's like, hi, you should be like, hey, let's go on a date like immediately. But it's just like you gotta drag everything out of everyone. And even if they message first, man, they're like, hey, blah, blah, this is really great. It's like, yeah, blah, blah. And then it just dies. You're like, all right, so what are you into? Like, tacos. Okay. And movies. All right. And dogs. Okay. Do you want to know what I'm into? Or, I mean, because usually, like, hey, man, how you doing? I'm doing all right. How you doing? And if you're dating, don't say, hey, man. Unless you're gay and you're dating a dude. That's fine, too. You know, it's like, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great. End of conversation. Fucking stupid. Absolutely useless. So I guess I don't know. It's a mess. And we will definitely log this saga. Um how it's going. And I won't use names or anything, so I apologize. And I'll try not to use specific conversations if everybody figures out. Because that's the other thing. Uh how was it? Let me just look at the conversation. Cause so also um like one of my photos is from one of Dutch cooks. Okay. You know, and someone's like, ah, that's interesting. Tell me more or whatever. So, you know, I tell them more and stuff like that. And but it's a still from the episode that I think we later turned into a thumbnail or some shit. But part of my reservation is like, I mean, I know the location of the full episode if you want to, but do I want to expose you to that right now and chase you off forever? Or I mean, what's the plan here? And then you know you explain that and they're like, oh, okay, I was just curious, and that's the end. It's like, okay, well, because I would be like, wait a minute, you got no, let me see, give me the link, let's watch this, and then that would be the truest form of me, because this here is the truest form of me. Same with Dutch cooks, all that shit. And if they can't handle that, then yeah, absolutely. But so maybe I should have been a little bit more bold and just be like, all right, well, here it is. I mean, if this isn't what you're into, I'm probably not for us. But because like I rewatched Rumham, the first part, dude, that was so good. If we had a better camera, that Rumham Part One, that podcast was so good. Part two was really bad because the audio is super fucked. But if anybody can figure that out, I would love to fix that. I was thinking like download the video, pull the audio out through Audacity or whatever, and just make like an audio podcast, and then go into like the video editing and just add it, like mute the video audio and just add the podcast audio to the video so it syncs up. Problem is, I have no idea how to do that. Or to want, I mean, I want to, but so yeah, maybe in the future I should just not be reserved and just be like, yeah, I mean, this is me. Higgins and I got wasted. I threw a chew in right at the beginning. Usually I try and, you know, ease into that, be like, hey, I always have Copenhagen in my mouth. So hopefully we're okay with that. Um, but I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll monitor the situation, and I'll share with you guys. I don't want to invade anybody's privacy, but I also want to tell you guys how this is going. So, like I said, maybe we won't be specific and use names and stuff, but I'll definitely share because right now there's like two or three conversations. I'm sorry, wait a minute. Three or four. Yeah, three or four that are just like potential, but I feel like I'm keeping up the conversation. You know, like I'm the one asking the questions and stuff. And I mean, the responses are great, but you know, it's like, so what else do you like doing? It's just a whole list of shit they like doing. It's like, okay, great. Oh, by the way, this is what I liked. Like, you know, I mean, I hate interjecting my shit into it, but you know, conversations like back and forth, and usually like you leave room for a response, unless you want me to just respond on what you're into and be like, yeah, that's great. I'm glad you like that and this and that, and then we're really nowhere. It's like, you know, I like chocolate and dogs and ducks and monkeys. It's like, oh, I mean, that's awesome. I like dark chocolate and monkeys are cool and dogs are cool and ducks are. I like to shoot them. And then I mean, that's the end of the conversation. And then it's like, oh my god, you shoot ducks? I love them so much. Don't shoot them. And then it's just terrible. Like I don't know, man. It's rough. And again, I don't. You know, I'm not looking for a some 40-year-old that I'm pushing that, but I don't need some 40-year-old with like 10 kids and shit. And it's like, I'm divorced and my life's a mess. Fix it. I don't know, dude. It's rough out there. I'm happy you guys have your own. And I sometimes I feel like I've settled in the past and we're not doing that anymore. So I don't know, dude. It'll be interesting. If nothing else, it'll be fucking entertaining. And if it really just like starts going down the fucking drain, I will absolutely start sharing like whole conversations and shit. And we'll just have a good time together about it. Forever alone, whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I have so much more stuff to talk about, but I don't really want to. I'm bored. I'm bummed about the Broncos. I can't fucking believe it. Well, I can because we suck and we had no business being there. But I was so hopeful with the first play, the first series, and then they just fucked me like they always do. And I'm mad at the fans who are like, oh, at least we made it. Fuck you guys. Jesus Christ. I hate second place trophies more than anything. We don't even get a second place. We just get a participation. All right. Well, cool. Whatever. It's been fun. Like as always, I know it was short this time, but I don't know, dude. I'm just running out of gas. And I mean, the week with the fires and all has been draining. So, I don't know, dude. I have been toying with the idea of filming the outdoor stuff because I've been doing a lot of winter fishing. I'm gonna do some winter camping. Um, and I don't know, is that something you guys want to watch? Or I mean, nobody watches fucking podcast, so what does that matter? I don't know. Maybe it's just for my own sanity. We'll go there. We'll see. Uh, yeah, that's it, man. The world is fucked, and there's no hope left for anybody. But I'll be here next week, maybe. We'll do the dating update. Do football without the Broncos. The Abs. I didn't. I mean, the Abs. Man, they're just so good, so bad. I don't know. It's dude. It's. I don't know. It's in shambles. I'm in sports hell right now. Which I mean, I'm from Colorado. That's usually how we function. So, all right. It's been fun. I appreciate everyone who watches now, everyone who listens later. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody, like, subscribe, do all that fun shit. Help me out. Blah, blah, blah. It'd be great. Let's make an actual profession out of this, maybe. I don't know. Until next time, bye.